Buenos dias, chomriups, assalamu alaikum. When we last left Ali Nur-ed-Din, all his friends had abandoned him. These were the friends that were the hangers-on, his entourage during good times. But now that all his money and property is almost completely gone, all he has left, of course, is his slave girl, Enis-el-Jelis, whom he has promised his dead father that he would never sell, nor would he ever marry any other, and that he would treasure this slave girl that they bought for over 10,000 gold pieces at the marketplace. And so we continue the story of Nur-ed-Din and Enis-el-Jelis from the 1001 Nights. He then returned to his slave. His anxiety had increased, and she said to him, "O my master, said I not unto thee that they would not profit thee?" "By Allah," he replied, "not one of them showed me his face." "O my master," rejoined she, "sell of the movables of the house a little at a time and expend the produce." And he did so until he had sold all that was in the house, and there remained nothing in his possession. And upon this he looked towards Enis-el-Jelis and said to her, "What shall we do now?" "It is my advice, O my master," she answered, "that thou arise immediately and take me to the market and sell me, for thou knowest that thy father purchased me for 10,000 pieces of gold, and perhaps God may open to thee a way to obtain a part of this price. And if God have decreed our reunion, we shall meet again." But he replied, "O Enis-el-Jelis, it is not easy for me to endure thy separation for 1 hour, nor is like the easy to me," said she. "But necessity is imperious." And upon this he took Enis-el-Jelis, his tears flowing down his cheeks, and went and delivered her to the broker, saying to him, "Know the value of that which thou art to cry for sale." And this is how easy the son forgets the face of his father. "O my master Nur-ed-Din," replied the broker, "noble qualities are held in remembrance. Is she not Enis-el-Jelis, whom thy father purchased of me for 10,000 pieces of gold?" He answered, "Yes." And the broker thereupon went to the merchants, and he found that they had not all yet assembled, so he waited until the rest had come. And the market was filled with all varieties of female slaves, Turkish and Greek and Circassian and Georgian and Abyssinian. And when he beheld its crowded state, he arose and exclaimed, "O merchants, O possessors of wealth, everything that is round is not a nut, nor is everything long a banana, nor is everything that is red meat, nor is everything white fat, nor is everything that is ruddy wine, nor is everything tawny a date. O merchants, this precious pearl, whose value no money can equal, with what sum will ye open the bidding for her?" And one of the merchants answered, "With 4,500 pieces of gold." But lo, the Wazir El-Moin, the son of Sawi, was in the market, and seeing Ali Nur-ed-Din standing there, he said within himself, "What doth he want here, having nothing left wherewith to purchase female slaves?" Then casting his eyes around, and hearing the broker as he stood crying in the market with the merchants around him, he said within himself, "I do not imagine anything else than that he hath become a bankrupt, and come forth with the slave girl to sell her, and if this be the case, how pleasant to my heart." If you remember, this Wazir El-Moin, the son of Sawi, was the evil Wazir, kind of the enemy of his father, the father of Ali Nur-ed-Din. who, of course, was the good Wazir that everybody loved. This is the villain of our story. He then called the crier, who approached him and kissed the ground before him, and the Wazir said to him, I desire this female slave, whom thou art crying for sale. The broker, therefore, being unable to oppose his wish, brought the slaves and placed her before him. And when he beheld her and considered her charms, her elegant figure, and her soft speech, he was delighted with her, and said to the broker, To what has the bidding for her amounted? The broker answered, 4,500 pieces of gold. And as soon as the merchants heard this, not one of them could bid another piece of silver or gold, but all of them drew back, knowing the tyrannical conduct of that Wazir. El-Moin, the son of Sawi, then looked towards the broker and said to him, Why standest thou still? Take away the slave girl for me for the price of 4,500 pieces of gold, and thou wilt have 500 for thyself. So the broker went to Ali Nur-ed-Din and said to him, O my master, the slave girl is lost to thee without price. How so? Said Nur-ed-Din. The broker answered, We opened the bidding for her at 4,500 pieces of gold, but this tyrant, El-Moin, the son of Sawi, came into the market, and when he beheld the damsel, she pleased him, and he said to me, Ask her owner if he will agree for 4,000 pieces of gold, and 500 for thee. And I doubt not, but he knoweth that the slave belongeth to thee, and if he give thee her price immediately, it will be through the goodness of God. But I know from his injustice that he will write thee an order for some of his agents for the money, and then send to them, and desire them to give thee nothing. And every time that thou shalt go demanded of them, they will say to thee, Tomorrow we will pay thee. And they will not cease to promise thee, and to defer from day to day, notwithstanding thy pride. And when they are overcome by thy importunity, they will say, Give us the written order. And as soon as they have received the paper from thee, they will tear it in pieces, so thou wilt lose the price of the slave. Like I said, this El-Moin, the son of Sawi, is a bad dude, and he is not going to give this guy money. But he's so high up as a Wazir that what can you do? When Nur-ed-Din therefore heard these words of the broker, he said to them, What is to be done? The broker answered, I will give thee a piece of advice, and if thou receive it from me, thou wilt have better fortune. What is it? Asked Nur-ed-Din. That thou come to me immediately, answered the broker, while I am standing in the midst of the market, and take the slave girl from me, and give her a blow with thy hand, and say to her, Woe to thee! I have expiated my oath that I swore, and brought thee to the market, because I swore to thee that thou shouldst be exposed in the market, and that the broker should cry thee for sale. If thou do this, perhaps the trick will deceive him in the market, and they will believe that thou tookest her not to the market, but to expiate the oath. So the cool thing here is Nur-ed-Din has friends. I don't know if it's that they like Nur-ed-Din or that they hate this El-Moin, the son of Sawi, so much that they're willing to try to help Nur-ed-Din. This, replied Nur-ed-Din, is the right counsel. So the broker returned into the midst of the market, and taking hold of the hand of the slave girl, made a sign to the Wazir El-Moin, the son of Sawi, saying, O my lord, this is her owner who hath just come. Then Ali Nur-ed-Din advanced to the broker and tore the damsel from him and struck her with his hand, saying to her, Woe to thee! I have brought thee to the market for the sake of expiating my oath. Go home and disobey me not again. I want not thy price that I should sell thee. And if I sold the furniture of the house and everything else of the kind over and over again, their produce would not amount to thy price. But when El-Moin, the son of Sawi, beheld Nur-ed-Din, he said to him, Woe to thee! Hast thou anything left to be sold or bought? And he would have laid violent hands upon him. The merchants then looked towards Nur-ed-Din, and they all loved him. And he said to them, Here I am before you, and ye have all known his tyranny. By Allah, exclaimed the wazir, were it not for you, I had killed him. Then all of them made signs one to another with the eye. So this is their version of wink, wink, and said, Not one of us will interfere between thee and him. And upon this, Ali Nur-ed-Din went up to the wazir, the son of Sawi, and Nur-ed-Din was a man of courage, and he dragged the wazir from his saddle and threw him upon the ground. Shit just got real. There was at the spot a kneading place for mud, and the wazir fell into the midst of it, and Nur-ed-Din beat him with his fist, and a blow fell upon his teeth, by which his beard became dyed with his blood. Now there were with the wazir 10 Memluks. Memluks are eunuch soldiers, emasculated soldiers that are basically the slaves of the wazir, but sort of his entourage. And when they saw Nur-ed-Din treat their master in this manner, they put their hands upon the hilts of their swords, and would have fallen upon him and cut him in pieces. But the people said to them, This is a wazir, and this is the son of a wazir, and perhaps they may make peace with each other, and ye will incur the anger of both of them. Or perhaps a blow may fall upon your master, and ye will all of you die the most ignominious of deaths. It is advisable, therefore, that ye interfere not between them. And when Ali Nur-ed-Din had ceased from beating the wazir, he took his slave girl and returned to his house. We'll stop right here after Nur-ed-Din beat the crap El-Moin, the son of Sawi. Who knows what will happen next in our story, Nur-ed-Din and Enis-el-Jelis, from the 1001 Nights.